Here we go. You got this. Drive through, drive through, drive through. Yes. That's the rep, that's the rep. Good.
Let's do two more. Two more. Big squeeze, come on.
There it is, one more with that technique.
What's good, YouTube? Daniel Vadnal here for Fitness FAQs, and I'm joined by Coach Eugene. Now, Eugene is a specialist in bodybuilding, so he's going to teach me and the calisthenics people watching how to build muscle using bodybuilding principles.
So today we're going to be covering off on 4 different movements to allow us to challenge the areas that may be lacking from bodyweight calisthenics.
As far as width, what are we going for here?
Look, I keep things super simple. I think there's a lot of overcomplication with setup of technique. Is people tend to go wider for more this or narrow for more that, high or low, and I say don't worry about any of that stuff. All we care about is taking the muscles here through as much of a complete range of motion as possible whilst giving you the stability. So if you went lower, you might be able to bring more range of motion to the knee joints, but you'll probably find your heels come off the ground, which loses stability. And that's the whole reason why we're using machines. We want to create stability so we can tax your muscles as much as possible. So let's put your feet back to roughly where they were before, which is more comfortable for you probably, and just go through the squat.
So use a technique that allows me to use a full range of motion.
Yeah.
Perfect, so whatever's comfortable.
And everyone's going to be different. Some people with longer femurs will be higher up or lower, depending on ankle mobility as well. So I just let the person go wherever they want to go. People really freak out when they start to use machines, especially cold, and think, oh, what about warming up? Or what about like my knees hurt or whatever it is? A lot of the time, I find people need to do more warm-up sets or their joints may hurt because they've set themselves up incorrectly. Like their feet are too low, their feet are too high. They haven't positioned themselves properly and they're just jumping in columns, going through the exercise without taking that time to see what's comfortable for me.
Yes.
And that's where they start to run into all the issues. Where if they just spent that couple of seconds, couple of minutes even, to just assess how can I set myself up with the most stability at my foot as possible, and not having to like cave through my knees or lift through my heels or whatever it is, they'll find they start to avoid a lot of the common issues. So like we're jumping in straight cold. And there's no reason, assuming you're not injured already, why you shouldn't be able to do this on any machine. If something hurts or feels weird, it's probably because you're doing it incorrectly. So by looping the band around, this is one thing that you can't really get from calisthenics. It's called accommodating resistance. Now you're going to be challenged next to nothing down here right now, but a lot more in the top half, which is typically an undertrained range of motion for body weight or typical free weight exercises. And that's why I think machines can be so beneficial and powerful to help fill in the gaps. The goal is to add enough resistance to challenge you through the entire range of motion. So again, normally even a hack squat machine only challenges you at the very bottom. Now with enough weight, we can be challenged at the bottom and at the top. There's no drop off at all, and it sucks. It's quite easy, and then immediately at the top there, you can't shoot up as much. You're gonna decelerate because the weight increases as the band tension decreases.
What's the goal, Eugene? What are you thinking?
I think probably 8 will be comfortable. I don't know, actually I haven't done this in a while.
12.
You think 8's good? Let's do 80. Let's do 80.
Just do all the reps. I think you're working at a very good intensity. So you can see based on Eugene's form, if he was to really push it, maybe rest a little bit after that one, maybe 1 or 2. Yeah. But I mean, your range of motion, every rep looked the same. You can't ask for more than that. The intensity was there, so I have to match that. I got to represent Team Calisthenics, you know, even though I do weight training, so it's not purely calisthenics, as you know. This is quite, yeah, here we go.
Nice. Drive it. Good, that's it. Push your sticking point. Drive, 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 yes. That's it, straight down. Push back. Nice. Up. Good. Here we go. You got this. Drive through, drive through, drive through. Yes. That's the rep, that's the rep. Good.
You just don't get that intensity with...
How are you still talking?
I'm not trying hard enough. Yeah, so 6 reps, trying to use that consistent form every time. As you can clearly see from me bursting during that, it's a different world. So it's fun to incorporate elements that you don't usually do because you're going to get things you don't have. Bro science.
Muscle confusion.
Let's confuse them.
All right, so exercise number 2, we are doing a machine seated leg curl. Big thing I like about this, and specifically this seated version as opposed to maybe a prone lying face down leg curl, is the extra stability. You're locked in. You physically can't do anything other than pull those into your bum using your hamstrings. Even if you tried to cheat, it's going to be nowhere near as ugly as it would be on other leg curl machines.
Why would a calisthenics focused person be doing this? Because in our world, so to speak, we're doing things like Nordic curls, like a hip hinge pattern.
Yeah.
So why would we be doing this?
So it really comes down to the position you're able to put your body in and what that then means for how the muscles are going to be working. A Nordic curl challenges you the most when you're in that flat face down on the ground position, when your hamstrings are in that lengthened out position, whereas here the hardest point is when your knees are bent.
Yes.
So it's different. And it's something that your body, like, is it better or worse? Again, it's neither. It's just what's missing from calisthenics. And knee flexion is a really important component to be training for knee health. So again, because we're so stable here, we can use it as an opportunity to push you hard, like beyond failure. Get it in all the way, go. Go again, keep going, keep going, keep going. That's it, keep it going. Give me more. Yes, I guess we're going to 20.
17.
Get it down. Yes. Give me that pause down there. Go. Pause it. There it is. Go again. Down. Pause it. Yes. Go 2 more. Last 2. There it is. 1 more with that technique. Nice.
Oh yeah. You're not going to get that level of local muscular fatigue without this type of machine isolation. It's beautiful.
Absolutely, yeah.
Awesome control. Look, there's just no extraneous movements. It's all his hamstrings. Good, still getting there all the way himself. That's 10, yeah? Good, let's keep going. It's not really about how many reps he's doing with bodybuilding. It's about the form, feeling it in the target muscle. Good? Good, let's keep going. This is where the magic happens now. Come on. Great, lengthening, awesome. Come on, come on. Let's do 2 more, 2 more, 2 more. Big squeeze, come on. Last one. Come on. And by yourself. Good job.
Exercise number 3, we're doing another isolation machine thing, leg extensions. But the big thing I like about this is, again, this is a position you can't get from calisthenics. You can isolate your quads in calisthenics. Like you can do sissy squats, or you mentioned also reverse Nordics. Great movements to do to isolate the quads, but they don't take the quads to their fully shortened position. So again, better, worse, neither. It's just missing. You can't really challenge this range sufficiently using body weights only.
Yes. 3.
There you go.
That's 15.
Yeah, that's it. Leave it at that. Leave it at that. So what we did on the leg curls, we pushed you really hard. Like we went beyond failure. Whereas here we're going to keep it a bit short because we just feel like doing it that way. With hypertrophy or muscle building training, there's merits to training to failure, but there's also merits to training short of failure.
Okay.
It might mean you need to do a few more sets, and which one you choose is completely up to you.
We're going to move on to an area that I'd argue is the biggest missing piece for calisthenics, and that is the lower back. So it's very hard for us to specifically target this in a very meaningful way. So at Eugene's gym, we've got a 45-degree hyper. I wanted to ask first, why this over, say, a horizontal one? What would be your preference for this over horizontal?
They both train the same muscle groups, hamstrings, glutes, and the erectors or the lower back a bit more specifically. But they challenge them through a slightly different range of motion. So when we're completely flat, our legs are straight and we're reaching that complete horizontal position, it's hardest when we're completely horizontal. Whereas this here, it's hardest when your torso is slightly bent forward, which is more of a mid-range position. So you're going to be stronger here. You're going to be stronger and you're going to be able to get more out of the muscle. There's some nerdy muscle physiology stuff that you don't really need to care about that much, but your muscle has an ideal resting length to be trained in. And this is better suited most of the time compared to a horizontal position. So it's below your pelvis, because you want your pelvis to be able to articulate back and forth as you go through the movement. That will help you stretch out your hamstrings. So hands across your shoulders, wherever you want it to be really. Flop your body down over the bench. Let your pelvis tilt into that duck butt anterior pelvic tilt position to stretch out the hamstrings. Then squeeze the glutes and pull back. And you want to reach that point where just before your spine wants to extend further. He's doing a really good job of keeping a neutral spine the entire time while squeezing the glutes and driving back with his ankles against the pad to contract through the hamstrings. We're just doing body weight here, but you could add a dumbbell to this as well, or a barbell. You could add band resistance as well, anything you want really, depending on what kind of mood you're in for, what kind of stimulus you want.
Sweet. What I'm liking when Eugene's doing this is he's really using that pivot of the machine apparatus here to get himself up into that neutral. You see a lot of people purely extending through the lumbar spine, but Eugene's doing a great job of pushing into the bench using that posterior pelvic tilt motion at the top to make his glutes, hamstrings, and spinal erectors do the work. It's good. If you're gonna do it properly, huh?
Exactly.
Now we can just
stop there.
Awesome, everyone. That's the end of this video. I highly encourage you to go check out Eugene's channel. He's rare to see someone that lives close by that is an expert in their field in terms of bodybuilding stuff, practice what they preach, and conveys the information in a very practical way, but also has the scientific background. I can go on, but I highly suggest you just go check out his stuff. So, Eugene, thanks for having me in your gym.
Thank you for having me on.
Appreciate it. Awesome. See you next time.